I'm calling this meeting of the Transportation Committee to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Chaplin. Covert. Here. Evans. Here. Ozog.
Here.
Tornadori.
Here.
Zay.
Here.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank Chris Rose from PACE for being here today. And next, we're going to have public comment. We have several people who want to speak to the committee. County Board rules call for 3 minutes per person and a total of 30 minutes of public participation. So if we are ready, can we call forward the public participation?
Debbie Hatchnicki.
Is this the development committee meeting?
It's
No.
transportation.
Is the development committee meeting at 10:30
Yes.
here?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So am I supposed to talk now? I was supposed to talk for development committee.
Then this is the wrong committee.
Okay. Can you just hold that till the next meeting for me?
Sure,
Thank you, sorry.
no problem. The next person is Roman Funder.
I'm with you, but I just wrote just attendance only on that.
Okay.
Perfect. Barry Larkins.
That was attendance only.
Okay. Robert Tarco.
Tatro?
Tatro? Yes.
I just want to speak on the issue. I hope it's the appropriate area to bring it up. The proposed bike path along Winfield Road on the east side between Mac and Cantini. I became aware of this basically through neighborhood discussions, so I've never heard anything official, but we've seen survey crews out there looking at building a bike path. And if they're proceeding forth on that, my biggest concern is safety in that area to put a bike path. I've lived there for about 15 years. When we bought our house, we knew there were no sidewalks. We knew we were in an unincorporated area. Then I heard about this bike path, and I will tell you, in the 15 years I've lived there, I walked once between Swan Lake, where the Swan Lake Court and Drive area that we live in, and Cantini on the east side of the road. I took my young son there. I walked along the road because I enjoy walking. I enjoy nature. I use bike paths. Walked along it, came back. It was the last time I ever did it. The road, it's a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit zone. Cars typically do not drive at 45. And also I've witnessed, there's a dog leg that as you head north, it veers to the left slightly. Cars have gone straight through, going north, have ended up in Cantini's property, going through their fence. I've seen one car in their backyard that came south and went right through the fence across traffic. I know of at least 2 deaths that have taken place right there, and that's right where they're putting the bike path. And so for me, it's a safety concern. If people are looking at putting a bike path there where a lot of pedestrians would be, I would urge anyone, it's like, take your kids along that route, their walk and see, and it's like, I think safer alternatives would have to be examined than going, because I enjoy using bike paths. I think getting out in nature is a great thing, but my concern is with the speed of traffic and with that dog leg and seeing the cars, the accidents that have happened there. For me, it's a risk that's too much to take. I would not take my family along on that side of the road in that area. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Diane Stamen.
I am a doctor but I am a PhD. I'm an economist. I taught at Northeastern Illinois University. I'm an urban economist, specifically in competition. And I have done a lot of research on property values. And this will hurt the property values of all the people that live on Swan Lake. I will not be directly impacted. I'm down further on Swan Lake Drive, not on the port. But still, this will hurt my property values. I am concerned about safety. I have 3 pictures of memorials that have recently been set up. There's always a memorial along this area that this proposed path is going to be. 3 pictures. Someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to die. I'm wondering if there has been a cost-benefit analysis done. We have to take into consideration on the cost side, the potential loss of life. And that was always my worst topic to teach because it hurts. There's a justice issue here. He's most likely gonna serve the wealthy. And there's a justice issue here. I think DuPage County tax dollars can go to better use. I'm wondering if there has been a study done on just who this is actually gonna benefit. There are a lot of jogging paths, there are a lot of bike paths, there are a lot of paths in the area. Why do we need another one along what is a very dangerous path? Yesterday, as I was taking pictures of these memorials, I was on the cemetery side, but I was on the other side of the fence. And the car fumes were so horrible that and it was hot out, and I had already been to one cemetery for a funeral. I walked around because I didn't, the fumes are horrible. I encourage anybody to go there and walk it. Has there been a study done on the number of cars that have actually left the highway? I've seen the fences down of my neighbors. I've heard the reports on the news of Winfield Road being closed. Has anybody done a study? There needs to be this air quality study because, well, I encourage you also to go there. I don't encourage anybody to walk it, by the way, because it is unsafe. And all you have to do is look at the memorials to see that. I encourage you to drive coming down Winfield Road. Come drive. And if you get the light at Mac Road, start over again or just continue to see what the cars are actually doing. They even if they're doing just 45 miles an hour, that turn, it's unsafe. And so I just encourage everybody to.
Dr. Stamen, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings on everybody.
Do we have anybody else? I'm sorry. You'd like to speak? Can we get a slip filled out, please?
Mhm.
Oh, we do. If you could just fill this out right here. Thank you.
Could you give me a slip also? Sure. Speak as well.
Sure.
Oh, sure, yes, absolutely.
Rudy Keller.
Thanks for letting me speak. So I live on Swan Lake Court. My backyard is right along Winfield Road. I've been there 27 years. We've had 3 different cars come through our fence into our yard. There would have been a 4th, but it hit a nice big tree and totaled the car. Currently, there are 2 memorials in place in that stretch of road where the proposed path is for the most 2 recent deaths in the past 2 years. The safety of that road is just terrible. The suggested speed limit is 45 miles per hour, but it's much faster than that. The amount of cars and trucks that barrel down Winfield Road would make it unsafe for a pedestrian path, a bike path along that route. If the purpose of that route, whatever it's for, if it's just to get to Cantini, I'm not sure what the purpose of the route is. And as people that live right along there, we were never told about this proposed path. We found out about it on September 6th, and it's been ongoing for the planning has been going on, from what we understand, quite a bit longer than that. And we've made several calls to the county board And they said, oh, nothing is done in a vacuum, but this has all been done in a vacuum because we have not heard about any of it. But I have a solution. There is already a path. If the idea of this is just to have a path to get to Cantini, because that's the only thing that people would use it for. If you go down Mac Road, St. James Farm already has a path that leads directly from the corner of Winfield and Mac straight east, and then there could be a crossing right across Mac Road, just inside the fence line of Canteen. It'd be much safer, probably much less expensive. And it's only a 2-lane road where I assume 15 to 20,000 vehicles travel down Winfield Road every day, compared to probably the couple thousand going down Mac Road. It's very unsafe, and the expense to take down all the trees and put in a path and buy everybody's property that goes along that route would be tremendously expensive for all of us taxpayers. So based on the safety,
Time is up.
yeah, it's very unsafe, and that's what we're here to represent.
Thank you.
Laura Ludwig.
Good morning. My name is Laura Ludwig. I'm a professional engineer and I have worked in the field for 40 years and have worked on projects that are net zero. And so I am very aware of sustainability issues, and I'm a big proponent. I'm also a big proponent of bike paths and of exercise. However, I think that this is an ill-fraught plan to put it on Winfield Road for the many reasons that have already been expressed. And I would like you to take a look at it to ascertain if you really feel that there is a return on investment, and if you've looked at the life cycle cost analysis of what you have to maintain in future years. If you've also taken a look at the cost of litigation that might occur if you encourage families to use a bike path going down Winfield Road. And that's what you might do, is might encouraging it. If the event is to get people to Cantini, I'm a volunteer at Cantini. I work in the greenhouse. Only done it for half a year, so I can't speak for Cantini, and I wouldn't even propose to say that I could. However, I do know that Cantini makes their money on cars coming to Cantini and parking. So if the event is to get people to Cantini that can't get there because of cars, you want to take a look at where's the population of people who don't have cars, who would be using this path. The people that would be using this path are probably more likely people that live in apartments, not people that live in houses. Everyone on Winfield Road and anywhere around that area has a car. They would get in a car, they would drive there. So I would take a look at where you have the apartments on Roosevelt Road, for example. Roosevelt Road doesn't even have a bike path. They put in a sidewalk. You've got to ask yourself, why did they just put in a sidewalk? Because of safety. So I would take a look at it to see if this is truly what you need to do. I really appreciate any work that the civil engineering firm has done to date, because I've done that work all my life. And I know how disappointing it might be if a project is folded, but I certainly like what Rudy just said. Let's keep it inside the Park District, inside the Forest Preserve, inside Cantini, and let's do it in a very safe manner. Thank you.
Okay, that concludes public participation. Thank you for everyone who spoke today and also who has corresponded with us through email. Next, I'd like to move on to our approval of our minutes. I move to approve the minutes of September 3, 2024. Have a second? Any changes or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, I move for approval of DTP 004524. Recommendation for the approval of a contract to LRS Holdings doing business as Lakeshore Recycling Systems for solid waste disposal services as needed for the Division of Transportation for the period October 1st, 2024 through September 30th, 2025, for a contract total not to exceed $55,000, subject to 3 one-year bid renewals.
Second.
Second, comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next, I move for approval of 24-24-65 budget transfer of $660,000 from construction engineering services to engineering architectural services to reallocate monies from bridge improvement projects that have been delayed to fund expanded pavement maintenance program. Second, and any comments or questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. I now move for approval of 24-24-67 budget transfer of $7,750,000 from transportation infrastructure to repair and maintenance roads to reallocate monies from bridge improvement projects that have been delayed to fund expanded pavement maintenance programs.
Second.
Second, any comments or questions?
Yes, just a question comment. So we're transferring this from transportation infrastructure to the bridges, because the bridges are being delayed. Now, will we have enough money when the time comes? Okay,
Yeah, so we actually talked about that back in March. We came to the
Okay.
committee and
okay,
and talked over, and I know that's, it's been quite some time.
yeah,
But the idea is that we take some of what was gonna be next year's resurfacing projects, move them to this year, and
okay.
then that money that would have been for resurfacing next year is
Oh,
available for the
okay,
bridge work.
gotcha.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Next, I move on to approval of DTR 003324, authorization to apply for an Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program grant for engineering and construction of the Stearns Road multi-use path from DuPage to Kane County line to Sayer Road.
Second?
Any comments or questions? Mr. Zach?
Have we talked to the Forest Preserve about this? Obviously, it's a long stretch that goes along Forest Preserve property. Are they gonna participate at all?
Hey, John, do you have any?
We have talked with them and yes, they're supportive. They've actually, issued a letter of support, for the project.
I mean, support like being part of it and giving us money to help build a path right next to the property.
And Mr. Zane is going to go
That'd be like really
Chase.
great, but we're building a nice path right on their property, so.
Yeah, that has not been.
So of course, okay.
But it certainly could be discussed. So
Thank you.
we can do that for sure. All right, any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next I move for approval of DTR 003424, authorization to apply for a community development block group neighborhood investment grant for construction of the 91st Street Sidewalk and Lighting Project from Clarendon Hills Road to Illinois Route 83. Do I have a second?
Yes, second?
Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have some intergovernmental agreements. I move for approval of 24-24-33. Amendment to Resolution DTR 002724, an intergovernmental agreement for transfer of jurisdiction of County Highway 1 River Road from Warrenville Road to Ferry Road and County Highway 32 Warrenville Road from Winfield Road to River Road, except for the Warrenville Road Bridge over the west branch of the DuPage River, and clarifying the ownership and maintenance responsibilities over certain multi-use paths. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions about this? Okay, all in favor? Next, I move for approval of DTR 003524, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning for the development of the DuPage County Active Transportation Plan, county to be reimbursed $118,792. Second. Second, any comments or questions about this? All in favor? And next I have DTR 003624, intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage and the Chicago Metropolitan Agency for Planning for transportation activities in support of the regional On to 2050 plan, county to be reimbursed $28,564.30. Oh, I move on this item.
Second.
Thank
I
you.
second that item.
Okay, any comments or questions about this? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and finally, we have a grant proposal notification. I move for approval of 24-24-69, FY 25 to 28 Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, Illinois Department of Transportation, Federal Highway Administration, $3 million funding will be used for engineering and construction cost of a multi-use path along Stearns Road between between the DuPage Kane County line and Sayer Road. Second. And any comments or questions about this? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any old business? Mr. Zay.
Thank you. I want to thank the residents for coming. We can't comment during public comment. We have to wait till the end of the meeting. You know, I know member Rutledge had good intentions on this. This is one of our worst stretches of road that we have in the county. The alignment on Winfield Road from Roosevelt down to Mac is horrible. I mean, we have Purnell Road where Google is sending everybody through there on a 2-lane township highway. My concerns on this path, we all know, I mean, I drive this path a lot, or this area a lot. I mean, right now, there's maybe what, a foot wide little footpath that goes down there. They're right, it's dangerous turns, it's not a straight, it goes back and forth every way. I mean, I hope our intention is to do phase one, take a look at it, that we haven't committed to do anything else at this point. Because it does seem like a path to nowhere. I know we had residents come in and say they wanted a path, but where are we going from Roosevelt Road to Mac Road? I mean, besides Cantini, which again is another traffic issue with people going there with their events. There's a lot of events there. Plus we have people coming out of the cemetery there, which, you know, at Resurrection is a tough turn either way, because there's a lot of traffic coming. And it just scares me, unless we're putting up some kind of barricade or something, people are gonna get hurt there. And last thing I want to do is take people's property and take down fences and take down trees to put a path in that really, I know people have talked about it, and it's good intentions, but again, we got to look at it and say, you know, what's the benefit and why are we spending that money on it? Because you know, I'd rather do some realignment on that road and use that if we're going to get any property to maybe make it safer than try to put something in there where it doesn't make a lot of sense. And there are fatalities out there, and we had county employees that were killed out there. So, I mean, it's just a very concerning area there. Wasn't in favor of it. And again, now that we're moving forward, again, this is just phase one engineering, right? There's nothing being done and they'll come back to us.
That's correct. Right now, no study has been done. This is just the very onset of a concept, really. We've got a surveyor who's documenting county-owned property. And that's the first step in deciding if we want to do anything else. So no decisions have been made. The environmental studies have not been done. So we haven't really looked at that NEPA process, if you will. All of that needs to be done. And as part of anything, public engagement would be held. So there's an open process that will continue from here if there's a project that materializes from this initial review.
And has Cantini said they would donate a property to us or give us right away over there?
I said, you know, I know you and I spoke and we'd heard that. We haven't had any conversation with them because, like Steve said, we have no basis right now of even knowing if there's a need for property, if there's a need for the project, right? So the initial land survey is
I
for
thought
us.
that's what spurred it on, is that Cantini said they were gonna give us additional property over there. If they're not, then this doesn't make a whole ton of sense.
We haven't had that discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Member Desart.
Thank you. So I'm wondering, I know you're new, so you may not know, but what was the impetus of this project then? Since no study has been done, I mean, how did this project even get a
Well,
whisper of
what I would-
life?
What I would say is that ultimately, we kind of follow the complete streets mentality. We want all of our roadway network to be multimodal, usable by all of our users in a safe way. So it's not out of character for us to look at places where gaps or barriers exist to that mobility. And this would be one more project like that. How it got started, I wasn't here, but it's been in our multi-year plan. It's on our website.
Well, I hope that listening to the residents around the area will put the kibosh on the plan.
If I could, we did have people come to a county board meeting and speak in favor of putting a path in this area.
Yes, we did.
So I think
I
that's
think
where the
within the past
impetus
year.
came from. It was
Within the
within
past
the
year.
past year and a half.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it started.
there was
This wasn't
some-
something that we just came up with. This
Yeah.
was people from the area said, hey, why don't you put a path in?
Some advocacy for it in the neighborhood, so, I'm sorry, go ahead, member Evans. I knew who you were, I'm sorry. Go ahead, thank you.
Can you give us a status update of where we are in this study? And I do want to, I appreciate everybody's comments, and I think the study is kind of what we will use to decide on, whether to do it or not. So I don't want to, we're going forward with the study, but basically the study is how we will base our decision. So, I don't anticipate we're moving forward yet. It's just that we need all the information we can, and, you're talking about all these different studies, and this is just the first step, and it was because, people came to the county board meeting. So, can you tell us the, status of where we are in the study and when it's supposed to be finished?
Yes, so you're absolutely right. The preliminary engineering process has really, it's in its infancy. It's just starting. Nothing really has been done. The very first step was to go document county-owned property. So that's what the surveyor was hired to do. So all of the engineering, all of that analysis that helps us determine what we will build, if we build anything, is all yet to come. If it were to materialize into a project and what the scope of that would be, whether it's a multi-use path or a sidewalk or nothing, that'll all be determined, and probably would be a calendar year or fiscal year 28 before anything could happen.
And I'll add that we, we did discuss this project last meeting when we gave our budget presentation. And that was kind of the look ahead, was this is a year or two out. If something were to come out of it, the study is intended to be done in the next, 8, 10, 12 months, pending all the different steps, and then a decision based on that. So like Steve said, the kind of looking ahead portion.
Thank you. Member Chaplin first.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and I just want to echo Member Zay's comments, because I don't live in the area, but I drive every Tuesday down that road. I know there's been accidents where I haven't, one time at least, where I was late for a special call meeting. A lot of us were. It is it is not a safe road. So I really hope that we do take the residents' concerns into our part of our decision-making, and even the alternate route that might have been given. My thing is, I hate to throw money into something that we know may not even come to fruition. So maybe that's something that we really need to discuss a little further in this committee, if it's something that we wanted to continue to study. I mean, I don't know, I just would hate to throw good money out the window to say it's really dangerous and not feasible. Do you know what so I don't know how we go about that, but.
At this point, we have the survey of county lands.
Right.
And so that's what has been done.
Right.
And that's always useful information. So.
Yes, that is.
Not heavy budget burden. So I think we can finish the surveying and then have further discussion on the committee. So anybody, Mr. Zay?
And I think they've gone farther. They have gone on and asked the surveyors to go on personal property. So it's just not county. They have asked to go on private property and survey. So I think that's where some of the concern is. So it's just not doing our county land. It's also doing surveying adjacent property that's maybe adjacent to our county property.
That's fairly standard. The surveyors have to be able to get to benchmarks or property markers so they can do what they're doing. If there is any, they carry a letter with them from the DOT explaining that they are there under our authority. We are happy to have a DOT employee present if that would make residents more comfortable with it. If anything is out of the norm with that process, they should come and they should go. If anything were to cause any concern, we'll make it right. That's not their intent, but they sometimes do need to get to the other side of the fence to see what they're surveying.
Anybody else? Okay, moving on to new business. Any new business? Okay, hearing none. I'm going to move to adjourn the meeting. All in favor? Aye. And thank you, everybody who came today. We really appreciate your input.
Thank you.